We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Searching for old treasures, blowing off the dust. Timeless stories and legendary characters. This is Talking Movies. Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Talking Movies. So today we're going to do something slightly different. Instead of talking about a movie from the past, we're actually going to be talking about something currently in theaters right now. So why am I going to be talking about this? Well, my daughter actually had the chance to go out and see the new Sonic movie. And who better to talk with about a review of this movie than somebody who is a fan of the franchise, somebody who's been a long-time fan of the franchise. And as you can see in some of the pictures that I will be showing throughout this video, yeah, you can pretty much see that that is the truth. So let's get into it. So obviously we're going to start off with, what did she think about the movie?
Well, as a fan, I really do love the movie, despite the flaws in the canon or things that have been broken down or reestablished with the movie. It does seem like it's trying to create its own canon, so I can't be completely mad at it. However, overall, not just from a movie perspective, but from a fan of the franchise, one who's been a fan since I could remember, it was very pleasing to see and watch.
Now, as far as the way that they had redesigned the character, because originally the original character that they were going to show in the movie was not really true to the Sonic game franchise, what exactly did you think about that change that they made?
Well, clearly it was any improvement what they originally designed. However, the appreciative fact came from they mixed classic Sonic from the original 90s games to the modern Sonic, giving him the green eyes to be able to stand out with his character design. Yes, he's very cute and closer to the classic Sonic. However, there are modern elements in there, but the biggest thing is his personality keeping him going. Without his personality, he's just a blue blur that runs across the screen. And while yes, they deviated from said personality a bit, they kept a lot of it intact, mostly his attitude and quick-witted nature.
Now, here's the million-dollar question. What did you think about Dr. Robotnik and Jim Carrey's portrayal of him?
It was a wee bit over the top. However, Eggman has always been a zany character. Dr. Robotnik has never been one to stray to try to make jokes or crack at someone to boost his own ego. They did very well at that, including showing his aggressive nature to his lackeys or companions, and his bloodlust for going after Sonic and anyone that's near him just to get to him was portrayed pretty well.
Now, there was actually some people that were complaining about how skinny he was. Now, can you shed any light on that?
Well, he's always been a fat man in the games. However, in the original comics, in an origin story, he was shown that he was actually a lot thinner. Now, this is also a different canon, which, being from Earth in this movie and in most renditions of Eggman, he could have initially been skinny. But Dr. Ivo Robotnik originally was when we first met him. Honestly, he looks better fatter, but he was at one point skinny in the comics.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are actually talking about how this is a very family-friendly type movie, and this is pretty much good for everybody to watch. Would you pretty much agree with that statement?
It really is. Sonic has always been one of those things that's pretty family-friendly, unless you go into certain games like Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic 06. But it is pretty family-friendly, besides the occasional saying what the hell, which is mostly coming from Dr. Ivo Robotnik himself. All censors are pretty much there. The only iffy thing is that at one point they're in a bar. They're consuming alcohol, but no one appears to be drunk.
So pretty much like they always did in the game, these things, you know, these type of movies are always pretty much fast-paced. There's a lot of action and everything like that. And it appears to be a very fun movie and enjoyable to watch. Now, I myself have never been much of a Sonic fan. My brother was, obviously my daughter is. I have never been one. But we're going to take that aside and we're going to say that this is a damn good movie to watch. Now, we've talked about what was good about the movie. Now I'm going to let my daughter explain to you what was wrong with the movie as far as the canon is involved.
Okay, so there were a few issues with the canon, spoiler warning in effect from here on out. So in the very beginning of the movie, we are shown that a tribe of echidnas attempt to attack Sonic and his caretaker. However, in the canon, Knuckles the Echidna, being the only one we really know, unless you go into the comic alternate universes where there's a time warp and all that fun stuff, Echidnas are an extinct race, and Knuckles being the only sole survivor. So maybe they were trying to take it from, maybe it's before they were completely extinct. However, with the implications of ancient races and the only one we see in the games really being Tikal, a ghost that will talk to Knuckles and try to aid him, we can pretty much assume that they're just dead at this point. Another odd thing going a bit before that, but what I was saying, was they had an older bird-type owl woman taking care of him. Now, it depends heavily on which version of the Sonic canon you want. In some, it's his grandfather or uncle taking care of them. Some, we just don't know. But we've never really seen that much of her, but I could just be having a lapse in judgment with this. Now, it's also a nice origin story for Sonic possibly getting his sneakers, but it seems a bit weird and far-fetched. Now, another thing could just be me being nitpicky. However, a little girl giving him his shoes on Earth seems a bit weird. Now, granted, it's a little irritating because he doesn't have the solid ring-type portions on his shoes. Were always there in the games, comics, and everything else. However, were not prevalent in this movie. Not too big of a deal, but just a small little quirk. Another issue seemed to be that his quills still contained electricity of some form. Now, Sonic really has never been shown to have too much electricity or electrical components attached to his speed. However, it's shown throughout the entire movie, days or even hours after that quill has plucked off of his body, there was still electrical charge because when Robotnik goes to taste it with his tongue, it shocks him. That's not how electricity works, but it could be different for the blue blur we all know and love. Now, there's certain things that are slightly questionable, but I cannot judge it until maybe a second movie comes out. Like, for example, we see Tails at the very end if you stick past the credits, which a lot of people in my theater didn't. Now, you see Tails come out of one of the ring portals, and he's assumably searching for Sonic. It doesn't make sense. In the original canon, Tails was an orphan and Sonic helped him. Sonic left Mobius in this movie at a very young age, which he didn't do in the canon or games. Now, this could just be his old caretaker surviving and saying, "Find Sonic," or if they try to imply that they were previously friends, it would not make sense with the rest of the movie unless he met him when he was a baby, which is impossible due to the canon age gaps between Tails and Sonic, Sonic being quite a bit older than Tails. Now, I could get into how Sonic's personality was a tad different, more depressed and downtrodden, however it makes sense with more of the movie, and the cute little quirks to things like Green Hill Zone and the town being called Green Hills. Besides that, there's not too many things I will complain about unless I was just trying to be completely nitpicky and tear this movie apart. But overall, I thought it was very enjoyable and very close to Sonic and the canons, and it was just a nice, refreshing watch compared to the original OVA, which was made in the 90s, solely based off a Sonic CD.
The Alien Conspiracy. So, some fans actually took exception to Sonic being called an alien. But, come on, people! I mean, seriously, he's from a planet called Mobius. If he's not an alien, then what is he, you damn fools? So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and claim it now that this is the first movie adaptation of a game that did not fail. Now, whether or not this movie actually pulls in a lot at the box office is to be seen. But from what I've heard already, it sounds like it has done a tremendous job to pull off what other films previously, well, quite honestly, they just could not do it. So anyway, guys, that's all I have on this one. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, if you liked the video, go ahead, destroy that like button for me. And if you are new to the channel and you like what you've heard and what you've seen so far, I would greatly appreciate if you subscribe. And I will catch you all next time. Later, y'all.